Hi, my name is Abhishek and I'm a legal intern at Lexis and Company. So today's my topic is women-centric laws in India, beneficial or detrimental. So as we all heard many times, the women are considered to be less strong in contrast with men, keeping in mind that draconian situation that women had to face in the male-dominating society, and government and enumerated special legislation favoring women and protecting them from any kind of discrimination or exploitation. So the women-centric laws are made to benefit women who are considered as an oppressed section of the society. But from the former time, the women were exposed to atrocities committed by men. They were considered as weak and oppressed section of the society. So various laws were made from time to time to safeguard them. So these laws are used by women as a weapon to protect themselves. The introduction of these laws had a basic objective to stop violence against women and bring them equal to men by maintaining equality and stop mental torture they face. So let us talk about situation of women in India and need for the women-centric laws. So moving on from the introduction of women-centric laws, now the second topic comes that was there any need to introduce such legislations or not? If we consider the situation of women in early Vedic period, it was good. Women were involved in the debates and intellectual people. Uh, Women were given equal religious right status as that of man, and wife was considered as ardhangini. The main condition of women worsened from the Mughal era. The parda system and child marriage were common practices during that time, and after the arrival of modern period, women's condition uh, more deteriorated, and all types of social evils against women was per like sati system, dowry system, and wheel system, and rape, etc. After post-independence period, the government had taken many steps to prevent the atrocities against women. Hindu Marriage Act 1955, Dowry Prohibition Act 1961, Prevention of Child Marriage Act 2006, and women have been given more freedom in all fields. So now just let us talk about the laws and judgments favoring women-centric laws. So the various laws framed after independence to prevent the women, like Hindu Marriage Act 1985, Special Marriage Act 1954, etc. Domestic violence. The rules are framed on domestic violence, like Section 498A of IPC deals with the subjugation of women to cruelty by her husband and in-laws. It is non-bailable, cognizable offence, prison for 3 years and fine. Second one comes the dowry death. Section 304B of IPC is a provision made to protect the woman from the cruelty by her husband and in-laws for dowry. And third one is forced sexual intercourse. Section 375 of IPC, which was enacted to help the women to get justice if they are forced into sexual intercourse. Fourth one is maintenance of wife by husband. So section 125 of the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973 mentions that a person is supposed to maintain his wife, children and his parents who are unable to maintain themselves. Fifth one comes is right to equality in the Constitution. So the Constitution under Article 15(1) prohibits any discrimination based on sex, and under the same Article 15 subclause 3 provides that the state can make special provisions for women. So let us now talk about the problems with women-centric laws. It is rightly said that the excess use of anything is very dangerous, and same is with the women-centric laws. These laws are made for the protection of women and provide them with safe life, but with time the women started misusing these laws and consequences had to be faced by men. Women started using these laws in a wrong way uh, by interfering with the rights of the males, and these laws were also being started to be misused by women to satisfy their ego and also to harass men. And because of these type of laws, males are kept at a disadvantaged position. So these are various legislation which protect the rights of women, but none which support the cause of man in the society. They are laws which are made to protect women from sexual harassment at the workplace, but there are no laws as such which could help males. Sometimes, to satisfy their own ego, women charges fake allegations against man, which not only ruin his career but also his reputation in the society. And we also know there's so many cases that women are falsely making allegations against a male, that motorcycle case in which the guy who is standing on a red light, and a girl is crossing the road. So he put on his phone in his hand and just texting whatever he is doing. The women consider him like he's clicking her picture. So he files case on him, and the case still lasted for 4 years. And due to this, the career of that man is totally ruined, and and he faced so much consequences. So, and also the data also shows that the maximum male commit suicide due to the mental trauma which they suffer from because of false allegations charged by their female counterpart than the stress of workload of any other reason. Section 498A of A 376 of IPC have been mostly used by females to humiliate men. These legislations were made by the parliament to protect the women, but the result of this had backfired and women themselves started to humiliate males. So the women are able to harass men and misuse these legislation because there is mindset fixed because a male is a powerful and then woman. So it is the woman who always has to suffer and not the males. In order to make statistic laws favoring women, legislation paid no attention to its worst consequences which have been affecting males. Many males who cannot prove their innocence commit suicide in order not to face sarcastic comments on the society. That's it.